We believe in prosperity that is shared and that reduces poverty and inequality. By lifting up the many and not just a few wealthy people at the top. Rather than simply extracting another country's natural resources. We believe development has to invest in people, in their education and in their skills. We believe that trade should be free and truly fair, and that workers and the environment should be protected. We believe that governments should not conduct or knowingly support cyber-enabled theft of intellectual property for commercial gain. And we believe that there needs to be good governance. Because people should not have to pay a bribe to start a business or sell their goods. And that's the kind of development and the kind of trade that we seek. That's why the Trans-Pacific Partnership is so important, not only because TPP countries, including the United States, will be able to sell more goods to each other, but it also has important strategic benefits. TPP is a core pillar of America's rebalance to the Asia-Pacific. And the trade and the growth it supports will reinforce America's security alliances and regional partnerships. It will build greater integration and trust across this region. And I have said before and I will say again, failure to move ahead with TPP would not just have economic consequences. But would call into question America's leadership in this vital region. So as difficult as the politics are back home, I will continue to push hard on the US Congress to approve TPP before I leave office. Because I think it is important for this entire region and it is important for the United States. I believe that nations are stronger and more successful when they uphold human rights. We speak out for these rights not because we think our own country is perfect. No nation is. Not because we think every country should do as we do, because each nation has to follow its own path. But we will speak up on behalf of human rights because we believe they are the birthright of every human being. And we know that democracy can flourish in Asia because we've seen it thrive from Japan and South Korea to Taiwan. Across this region, we see citizens reaching to shape their own futures. And freedom of speech and assembly, and the right to organize peacefully in civil society. Without harassment or fear of arrest or disappearing, we think makes a country stronger. A free press that can expose abuse and injustice makes a country stronger. And access to information and an open internet where people can learn and share ideas makes a country stronger. An independent judiciary that upholds the rule of law. And free and fair elections so that citizens can choose their own leaders. These are all the rights that we seek for all people. We believe that societies are more stable and just when they recognize the inherent dignity of every human being, the dignity of being able to live and pray as you choose. So that Muslims know they are a part of Myanmar's future, and Christians and Buddhists have the right to worship freely in China. The dignity of being treated equally under the law. So that no matter where you come from or who you love or what you look like, you are respected. and the dignity of a healthy life, because no child should ever die from hunger or a mosquito bite. Or the poison of dirty water. This is the justice that we seek in the world. And finally, we believe that the ties between our nations must be rooted in friendship and trust between our peoples. I think of several Laotian Americans whose families came to the United States as refugees. Our nations are connected not just by policies, but also by people like John Dwangara. Whose family settled in our state of Nebraska and after high school joined our military. Served with our elite special forces, and ultimately gave his life for our nation. His mother said, "He is a son of the Lao people." And he sacrificed for us, and we honor him. We're connected by Shanafa Kambangsa. Who came to America when she was 7 years old and who is back here today. And for years, she urged the United States to do more to help remove unexploded bombs here in Laos. There are many, many problems in this world that might not be able to be solved in a lifetime. She said, but this is one we can fix. So, Shanafa, we thank you for working to fix this problem. And we're connected by Stacy Fengvith, who is here as well and who I met earlier. Her parents came to America and stressed the importance of education. And today, this proud Laotian American serves at our embassy here in Laos. I feel a sense of home, she says, as if I have known this country before, through my parents. It feels like we've come full circle. So, Stacy, on behalf of all of us, thank you for helping to bring our countries closer together. So these are the values that guide us. And this is the partnership that America offers here in Laos and across the Asia. Pacific. Respect for your sovereignty. Security and peace through cooperation. Investment in the health of children. Education for students. Support for entrepreneurs. Development and trade that creates jobs for all of us and protects our environment. A commitment to rights and dignity that is born out of our common humanity. This is our vision. This is the future we can realize together. And based on my visit to Laos and the proud work of the past 8 years. I believe that Americans and the peoples of the Asia Pacific will be able to say to each other, as the song goes. We will always have you as our true friend as long as we live. Kop J Lai Lai. Thank you very much. Barack Obama. Address at the Let Freedom Ring ceremony commemorating the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington, D. C. Delivered August 28, 2013, Lincoln Memorial, Washington, D. C. To the King family, who have sacrificed and inspired so much, to President Clinton. President Carter, Vice President Biden and Jill, fellow Americans. "5 decades ago today, Americans came to this honored place to lay claim to a promise made at our founding. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. That they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In 1963, almost 200 years after those words were set to paper, a full century after a great war was fought and emancipation proclaimed, that promise those truths remained unmet. And so they came by the thousands from every corner of our country, men and women. Young and old, blacks who longed for freedom and whites who could know. Longer accept freedom for themselves while witnessing the subjugation of others. Across the land, congregations sent them off with food and with prayer. In the middle of the night, entire blocks of Harlem came out to wish them well. With the few dollars they scrimped from their labor, some bought tickets and boarded buses. Even if they couldn't always sit where they wanted to sit. Those with less money hitchhiked or walked. They were seamstresses and steel workers, students and teachers, maids and Pullman porters. They shared simple meals and bunked together on floors. And then, on a hot summer day, they assembled here, in our nation's capital. Under the shadow of the great emancipator to offer testimony of injustice. To petition their government for redress, and to awaken America's long-slumbering conscience. We rightly and best remember Dr. King's soaring oratory that day, how he gave mighty voice to the quiet hopes of millions. How he offered a salvation path for oppressed and oppressors alike. His words belong to the ages, possessing a power and prophecy unmatched in our time. But we would do well to recall that day itself also belonged to those ordinary. People whose names never appeared in the history books, never got on TV. Many had gone to segregated schools and sat at segregated lunch counters. They lived in towns where they couldn't vote and cities where their votes didn't matter. They were couples in love who couldn't marry. Soldiers who fought for freedom abroad that they found denied to them at home. They had seen loved ones beaten, and children fire-hosed. And they had every reason to lash out in anger, or resign themselves to a bitter fate. And yet they chose a different path. In the face of hatred, they prayed for their tormentors. In the face of violence, they stood up and sat in, with the moral force of nonviolence. Willingly, they went to jail to protest unjust laws, their cells swelling with the sound of freedom songs. A lifetime of indignities had taught them that no man can take away the dignity and grace that God grants us. They had learned through hard experience what Frederick Douglass once taught, that freedom is not given. It must be won, through struggle and discipline, persistence and faith. That was the spirit they brought here that day. That was the spirit young people like John Lewis brought to that day. That was the spirit that they carried with them, like a torch, back to their cities and their neighborhoods. That steady flame of conscience and courage that would sustain them through the campaigns to come through. Boycotts and voter registration drives and smaller marches far from the spotlight, through the loss of 4 little girls in Birmingham. And the carnage of the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and the agony of Dallas and California and Memphis. Through setbacks and heartbreaks and gnawing doubt, that flame of justice flickered, it never died.